Letting go of someone who doesn't appreciate you is one of life's most profound lessons. It's not just about leaving someone behind. It's about engaging in an internal journey that challenges your self-love, self-esteem, and ability to connect with yourself on a deeper level. Carl Jung taught us that our relationships are not mere coincidences, but reflections of our inner world. The people we choose, the patterns we repeat, and the emotions they evoke are part of an unconscious dance between our conscious self and the hidden aspects of our psyche. Staying in a relationship where you're not valued isn't just the other person hurting you. On some level, you're perpetuating that cycle. Jung would call this a manifestation of the shadow, the part of us we prefer to ignore, but that permeates every aspect of our lives. The shadow holds all our fears, wounds, and limiting beliefs suppressed since childhood. Often, the lack of recognition in a relationship mirrors the lack of recognition we give ourselves. Have you ever wondered why you remain attached to someone who doesn't reciprocate your feelings? Why is it so hard to let go? Why do you cling to the hope that everything will change? For Jung, these situations are not random. They are revealing. You're not fighting for another's love. You're challenging the story you've told yourself about what you deserve and how love should work. Until you confront that narrative, you'll continue to attract the same experiences repeatedly. The key to freeing yourself isn't with the other person. It's within you. It's not about changing the other person or waiting for recognition that will never come. It's about looking inward and discovering which part of your psyche sustains that relationship. Perhaps it's your inner child yearning to be seen, heard, and loved. Maybe it's a pattern learned at home, where love was always conditional or had to be earned. Or perhaps it's a deeper belief rooted in the fear of loneliness, the voice inside whispering that without this person, you'll feel empty. But here's the truth. The only way to find true love is to start with yourself. Jung said that individuation, the process of becoming our most complete and authentic selves, is only possible when we integrate our shadows and face what we've been avoiding. Often, letting go of someone who doesn't value you is the first step in doing so. When you choose to let go, you're not losing something valuable. You're reclaiming something that was always yours, your personal power. Holding on to someone who doesn't appreciate you ultimately drains your energy and ties your well-being to outside influences. But the moment you decide enough is enough and choose to leave what doesn't fulfill you, something shifts within. It's as if the universe responds to your choice with new opportunities, relationships, and a renewed self-view. Letting go isn't easy. Jung reminds us that the unconscious clings to familiarity, even if it's harmful. We get used to patterns of suffering simply because they're predictable. The challenge lies in breaking away from the familiar, to embrace the unknown. It's a leap into the void, a void filled with possibility, not absence. This is where true transformation starts, because when you release what doesn't value you, you begin to attract what does. It's not that the universe magically rewards you for the right decision, it's that your energy changes. Your interaction with the world shifts. You stop settling for scraps of love because you've discovered an endless well of self-love within. Jung noted that projection is a common way the unconscious expresses itself. What we see in others, what hurts or obsesses us, reflects something within ourselves. So, When someone doesn't value us, instead of focusing on them, we should ask ourselves how we've undervalued ourselves, ignored our needs, or settled for less than we deserve. These uncomfortable questions are necessary. Real change doesn't occur when others treat us better. It happens when we raise our standards. When we internalize this lesson, we stop attracting relationships that diminish us, because the external world mirrors the internal. Life isn't about convincing someone to value you. It's about surrounding yourself with those who already do. But first, you must value yourself not from ego or arrogance, but from a deep connection with who you truly are. When you see yourself with love and respect, others notice. Those who don't lose their place in your life. Letting go isn't a punishment or defeat. It's an act of self-love. It's telling yourself you deserve more. When you truly believe and feel this, the universe aligns to show it to you. When you choose to let go of someone who doesn't value you, a part of you may resist, not because you want to keep suffering, but because your mind is programmed to resist change. The truth is, the greatest growth comes from embracing the unknown. So ask yourself, are you ready to reclaim your worth? Are you prepared to break free from cycles that no longer serve you? The moment you do, you step into the life you were always meant to live. Letting go is not the end. It's the beginning of everything. Carl Jung once said that the human psyche seeks balance and stability, even when that stability involves suffering. This is why many people remain trapped in toxic relationships for years. The uncertainty of being alone seems more terrifying than staying where they aren't valued. But here lies the paradox. What you fear losing the most is often what you most need to let go of. The fear doesn't stem from the loss itself, but from the deep-seated belief that without that relationship or person, something within you will remain incomplete. However, this belief is an illusion. You don't need someone else to complete you because you are already whole. What you truly need is to remember who you are when you're not trying to fit into a mold that was never meant for you. The moment you decide to let go, something powerful happens. You're not just making space for something new in your life. You're also sending a clear message to your subconscious. You are ready to evolve. Jung believed the unconscious mind is always trying to communicate with us, but we rarely listen. It sends signals through dreams, intuition, and sensations, revealing which relationships drain us, which situations limit us, and which paths don't align with our true essence. Yet, we often ignore these signs because facing the truth is uncomfortable. But the truth remains. Love shouldn't be a constant battle. It shouldn't feel like a battlefield where you must endlessly prove your worth or justify why you deserve to be loved. Jung teaches us that true love, conscious love, can only exist between two individuals who have done the inner work to truly know themselves. Otherwise, what we call love is merely a web of projections, dependencies, and wounds disguised as affection. When you remain where you aren't valued, you become trapped in an unconscious cycle where your self-esteem is constantly at stake, seeking validation from someone who will never provide it in the way you need, not because they are bad or cruel, but because the recognition you seek doesn't exist outside of you. It is within. It's the part of you that needs to look in the mirror and affirm, I am enough, exactly as I am. Letting go of someone doesn't mean you must hate them, wish them harm, or erase everything you shared. It means accepting that the cycle has come to an end, that the relationship served its purpose, and now it's time to move forward. Often, the reluctance to let go comes from the false belief that the time spent in a relationship defines its worth. I've been with this person for so many years, I can't just walk away. However, time isn't a measure of quality. You could spend decades in a relationship that stifles your growth, yet meet someone in a few months who transforms your life. The true value of a relationship lies not in its length, but in how it contributes to your growth. Jung described individuation as the journey toward wholeness. This journey requires integrating our shadows, facing our fears, and releasing what doesn't align with our true selves. On this path, letting go is essential because you can't become who you're meant to be if you're clinging to who you once were. The ego will try to convince you that letting go means losing, that walking away is failing. But your soul knows the truth. Letting go creates space for something greater. When you let go of those who don't value you, you open up the chance to attract those who will. More importantly, it allows you to value yourself without needing external validation. Many hold on, believing if they try harder, love more, or are more patient, the other person will change. But Jung reminds us we cannot change anyone who doesn't want to change. Growth is personal, and everyone has their own timeline. If someone doesn't value you today, wishing for change tomorrow won't make it so. The only thing you can control is how long you're willing to wait for something that may never happen. This is where many face their biggest internal struggle. They know they need to let go, yet something inside still waits for a sign or promise of improvement. But time alone doesn't change people. Only the decision to change does. If the dynamic remains unchanged, a pattern has been established that is unlikely to break. The most empowering act is deciding to walk away without expecting anything in return, not to provoke a reaction or make them realize what they lost, but because you deserve better. Choosing yourself sends out a new frequency into the world that attracts people and situations resonating with your new energy. But here's where many stumble. Letting go isn't instantaneous. It's not a switch you flip to stop feeling. It's a process, a mourning period, an internal reconstruction where you must consciously choose yourself every day. There will be times when nostalgia takes over and your mind only recalls the good moments. There will be nights when you question your decisions, and in these moments, remind yourself why you started this journey. Self-love isn't built in a day. It's a daily practice. It's choosing not to settle and having the courage to look in the mirror and recognize your worth, not because you prove it or beg for it, but simply because you exist. Jung taught us that self-awareness is the key to true freedom, which isn't just about doing whatever you want, but having the power to choose who and what belongs in your life. Everyone who enters your life reflects something back to you. If someone doesn't value you, see it as a lesson, not an injustice. What is this experience teaching you? What part of you needs to grow stronger? Where have you compromised your essence to fit a narrative that no longer serves you? Letting go doesn't mean forgetting or denying your feelings. It means accepting reality courageously, closing a door with gratitude and determination never to reopen it out of fear or weakness. True love, as Jung described, can only exist between two people who are whole within themselves. If someone can't see your true self, They aren't meant to walk this path with you right now. You have a choice. Wait. Prolong the pain, or decide today to begin letting go, not to prove anything, but for yourself, because your well-being and self-love are worth more than any relationship that makes you question your worth. Remember, each time you release something that doesn't value you, the universe brings something better. Not because of magic, but because when you shift your energy, you change how you interact with the world. When you embrace self-love, you attract experiences that reflect that energy. If letting go feels painful now, remember, pain is temporary, but the transformation that follows is eternal. One day, you'll look back and realize that letting go was never a loss. It was the best decision you ever made. The true challenge in letting go isn't the act itself, but the internal resistance that follows. It's that voice in your mind that tries to convince you that maybe you could have done more, that perhaps you didn't give your all, and if you had acted differently, the other person might have valued you more. But that's just a trick of the unconscious, a way to keep you stuck in a cycle that no longer benefits you. Carl Jung teaches us that holding on to what doesn't value us is simply a manifestation of our shadow, the part of us that fears facing loneliness, emptiness, and uncertainty. The ego craves answers and wants to close cycles with explanations that make sense of what happened. But the reality is that you won't always get an apology or closure. More often than not, true closure comes from within you. You don't need someone else to validate your pain to know it was real. You don't need someone else to recognize your worth to know you are valuable. Everything you seek outside is already within you, waiting to be discovered. Letting go isn't linear. There will be days when you feel at peace, confident in your decision. But there will also be moments when the past tries to draw you back in. In those moments, your greatest challenge will be to remember why you chose to let go in the first place. Jung tells us that the unconscious works through patterns and symbols. If you still feel the urge to return to what doesn't value you, it's because there's a lesson you haven't yet learned. What truly kept you attached to that relationship? Was it genuine love or a need for validation? Was it a real connection or just the fear of being alone? Society has taught us to see solitude as negative, as if being alone means being incomplete. But Jung shows us that solitude is a gift, an opportunity to listen to yourself, embrace yourself, and heal. When you step away from the noise and external distractions no longer tie you to dynamics that don't nourish you, that's when you can truly look within and find the answers you've been seeking. Don't fear solitude, embrace it, because in it you will find the clarity you've been searching for. Sometimes the problem isn't letting go of a person, but letting go of the idea of what we believe that person represented in our lives. We hold on to the image of what could have been, the good moments and the unfulfilled promises. But clinging to a story that never was only stops you from writing a new one. Every time you look back with nostalgia and drown in the what-ifs, you're giving your power to something that no longer exists. Jung reminds us that transformation happens when we stop resisting change, accept that what ended had to end, that what left had to leave, and that our only responsibility is to learn from the experience so we don't repeat it. The real danger of not letting go is not just the prolonged pain, but the risk of attracting the same types of relationships and lessons disguised with different faces. If you don't learn the lesson now, life will keep presenting it until you're ready to evolve. When you value yourself, you're not afraid to let go, not because it doesn't hurt, but because you understand that true value in your life will never make you feel unworthy. True love doesn't require you to shrink, adapt, or become someone you're not to be accepted. Real love is free, mutual, and expansive. If it isn't, then it's not love. It's a reflection of your wounds. This is where self-exploration comes in. Jung taught us that self-knowledge is key to breaking unconscious patterns. Why is it so hard for you to let go? What part of you still feels it needs to prove its worth? Where did you learn that love must be earned through sacrifice rather than received naturally? These questions might be uncomfortable, but they are necessary. The more you understand yourself, the easier it is to recognize when a relationship isn't aligned with your well-being. The key is self-observation. Jung described individuation as a journey toward authenticity, and a major challenge in that journey is letting go of those who don't truly value you. It's not just about physically distancing yourself from someone. It's about transforming your mindset. It's about reprogramming your unconscious mind to stop attracting what doesn't nourish you. It's about choosing to surround yourself with people who uplift you instead of exhausting yourself in relationships that exist out of habit or fear of change. It's normal to feel fear when taking this step. Fear is a defense mechanism of the unconscious, keeping you in the familiar even when it's hurting you. But here's the secret. On the other side of fear lies freedom. On the other side of resistance lies peace. When you dare to cross that threshold, when you choose to release the chains that have kept you bound, you realize that what seemed like a loss was actually a liberation. Jung spoke of synchronicity as a sign of alignment with your purpose. When you release what doesn't value you, when you let go of what isn't meant for you, things in your life start to flow differently. New opportunities arise. People who truly resonate with your energy begin to enter your life, and what once seemed impossible becomes just another lesson in your growth journey. Every time you let go, you create space for something better. That space will only be filled when you are truly ready, when you have genuinely learned the lesson and no longer need to repeat the same story with different characters. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. It occurs in the discomfort of letting go of the old to welcome the new. Look at yourself. Right now, in this very moment, you are not the same person you once were. You have grown, learned, and evolved, and everything you've experienced, even the painful moments, has been part of your transformation. Do not regret what you've been through. Every relationship, challenge, and fall has led you to this exact moment, where a new story begins, a story where you choose yourself. Letting go means trusting that the universe will not take something from you without replacing it with something better. It means understanding with certainty that what is truly meant for you will never need to be forced, begged for, or explained. It's realizing your worth is not determined by how someone else treats you, but by how you treat yourself. If something or someone in your life has made you feel small, doubt your worth, or question if you are enough, today is the day to make a different choice. Choose to let go, not out of resentment or bitterness, but from the deepest love you can give yourself. What lies ahead is far greater than what you leave behind, and the only way to discover it is by taking the first step. When you finally release what doesn't value you, you realize you were never truly losing someone else. You were rediscovering yourself. Now, you are someone who understands their own power. You've discovered that true love and validation come from within, one of life's greatest revelations. Carl Jung taught us that everything we experience externally reflects our inner world. If you've spent years in relationships where you weren't valued, where love felt like a struggle, and you gave more than you received, it's not because something is broken or wrong with you. It's because a part of you hadn't fully recognized your worth. But now, that part of you is awakening. You understand you don't have to prove yourself to anyone. Love isn't meant to be a battlefield or a sacrifice. Real love is a conscious choice between two people who see and respect each other. The most beautiful part of this process is that when you let go of those who don't value you, you don't just regain your power. You become a magnet for relationships that truly align with you. You stop wasting time on empty connections and pouring energy into those not ready to appreciate you. Instead, you'll start attracting those who genuinely align with who you are. This happens when you choose yourself, confidently closing one door to embrace the endless possibilities ahead. From now on, whenever you feel tempted to look back, remember why you began this journey. Recall all the pain you endured, the love you gave without receiving the same in return, and the times you hoped for change that never came. Most importantly, remember who you are now, someone who no longer begs for love, who has shed the weight of a story that isn't theirs anymore, ready to write a new chapter founded on self-love. Jung said, life continually sends us signs, but it's up to us to interpret them and act. This is your sign. Hearing this message now is no coincidence. It's the universe, your subconscious, guiding you to the path you need to take. Don't ignore this opportunity. Stop postponing your well-being. Don't let fear keep you stuck where you no longer belong. It's time to move forward and let go. Now, I invite you to do something powerful. If this message resonated with you, share it. Many are still trapped in relationships that diminish them, lacking the strength to let go, believing love must be earned through suffering. Help spread this message, as someone might need to hear these words to take their first step toward freedom. Leave a comment below. Share which part of this message connected with you. What will you do to prioritize yourself? If you've already taken this journey, share your story. You might inspire someone else, becoming a guiding light for their healing. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications to catch upcoming messages. This space fosters growth, transformation, and awakening. Together, we build a community where Carl Jung's insights and subconscious wisdom become tools for living a fuller, more authentic life. If this message touched you and feels like the start of a new chapter, share it. When something changes us, we must share it with the world. Together, we can help more people awaken, let go, and discover the immense power within them. Remember, letting go isn't losing. It's making room for what you truly deserve, choosing yourself until the love you seek outside becomes the love already within you. Thank you for joining us, listening, and being part of this community. I'll see you in the next video. Remember, change starts with you.